Before working on any firearm, make sure the magazine is empty and removed. Also make sure the chamber is empty and the firearm is unloaded.
We're here today to do the assembly or disassembly and assembly of the MIG rifle. Now bear in mind that the MIG rifle was actually designed to be a takedown rifle. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take the gun down as if you wanted to transport it in a smaller configuration. So we'd start by loosening the screw in the back on the buttstock. Make sure the buttstock's a little bit loose. This pin here is actually a retainer pin for the buttstock. Once this bolt in the back is loosened, you can push this cross pin out. Then the stock assembly should come off. Just like that. Bear in mind that the tubular handguard is actually threaded onto the receiver. Now it's a right-handed thread. It's a pretty long thread. It's about 1.25 inches worth of thread, so it's going to take a while to unscrew it. But it's not held on by any retainers. It's actually just tightened by hand. So some of the guns, you actually will have to maybe set the receiver between your legs to twist off this handguard. That's going to come off just like a lid would on a bottle or a jar. So it's, as I said, it's a right-handed thread. So if you can't unscrew it by hand, just put this receiver between your legs, get both hands on it, and turn it. If you have a soft vise, you could always put this in a vise and turn the handguard. So we'll unthread this. You want to kind of be careful taking the handguard off the barrel so you don't leave a lot of aluminum marks on the barrel. Now, to take the barrel off of the receiver, there is actually a retainer screw here, an Allen head screw. So we've got to loosen that first. Now, you don't have to take the screw out. You only have to loosen it slightly. And from there the barrel should slip out. Now, some of the receiver and barrel combinations will be a little bit tight. So if you're unable to work your, now bear in mind this barrel has an alignment pin, as you can see right here. Now this alignment pin fits in a notch in the receiver right here. So you're not going to be able to turn the barrel once you loosen this set screw. So if you cannot actually pull the barrel straight out, you'll actually have to take the assembly, hold it upside down, preferably in an area where you've got a soft floor like carpeting, maybe you've got a rubber mat, something like that. So imagine that the barrel is still attached. Make sure the screw is loosened. You can take a soft mallet and you can smack the receiver right here with the weight of the barrel down. This will actually work the barrel out of the receiver bed. Okay. Now, this is really the takedown format for this gun. If you want to set up your own case that has, that's much smaller than a normal long rifle case, you can actually cut the foam for your pieces to fit in, and the gun actually assembles pretty fast from here. To go further in disassembling the receiver, what we'll do next is you'll need a wide blade, a fairly thick bladed flat screwdriver. Now, you got to make sure that you get the right screwdriver head for this. Otherwise, you might break off part of this charging handle or strip it. And once again, these are right-handed threads. Now, this charging handle is actually threaded in to the bolt. And instead of using some type of retainer, we choose to use threads simply because the threads seem to hold up longer than just having a ball D10 or something like that. Now, this charging handle is Loctited in with blue Loctite. Now, it's not a permanent Loctite, So as long as you have the right screwdriver head, lay the receiver down flat, put some pressure on the screwdriver, and turn out the charging handle. And let me reiterate, it is right-handed threads. As you can see, the charging handle's threaded. Okay, now when you received your MIG rifle, you received an Allen wrench and what we call a slave rod. We'll set the slave rod aside, don't need that right now. You've got 5 flathead, which are also Allen head screws on the top of your receiver. These all have to be loosened with the wrench that we gave you. Okay, as you can see, you've got 5 flathead Allen head screws on the top of the receiver. These really ultimately are what keep the gun accurate, keep the assembly together. So you've got to keep an eye on these. We provide a wrench and a slave rod, which we'll get to that later, in your box with your MIG rifle. So, but if you have another wrench handy, you can always use one of your own. Basically, we're going to loosen all these. Then we're going to remove all 5. Now the reason for the 5 screws is when I designed this rifle, it's really designed to be a target rifle. Just putting a couple of screws in it really isn't securing the upper receiver enough. 5 screws make sure that the receiver cap stays in place, stays tight, because let's bear in mind that the rifle scope is mounted to this cap. Now we're ready to actually remove the top cap and the bolt assembly. It'll come together as one piece. Now, first make sure that you got the charging handle out and the barrel is out, because you cannot pull out the top cap with the bolt assembly without those 2 things first, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to grab the receiver and the top cap, much like I have it here. What you're going to do is you're going to try to wiggle the top cap a little bit to see if it separates from the lower receiver. Now, it does help if the hammer is cocked when you do that, but it will come out even if it's not cocked. So now we have the whole assembly out. Now, as you can see inside, it's a fairly simple design, but very, very robust design. We do not need to take the internals out of this receiver. We don't recommend that our customers do it. It really should be done by a competent gunsmith or sent back to us here at API. From there, that's basically it in terms of the disassembly.